With Sean Diddy Combs found guilty on 2 federal counts, a new question has taken over headlines and comment sections alike. What happens next? Will Diddy serve all of his time? Will he learn from this? And what could his future look like from here on out? In this video, we'll break down Diddy's upcoming sentencing, the possible prison timeline, whether he can appeal, and the burning question, can he make a comeback or has his legacy been permanently shattered? Viewer question that sparked this video. This video was actually inspired by a comment we received from one of our viewers. Atinum6357 asked, can you do a reading on what is going to happen afterwards? Is he going to serve all his time? Is he going to learn from this? And honestly, it's the exact question that's on a lot of people's minds right now. So let's break it down. The charges recap. First, a quick recap for context. Sean Combs was found guilty of 2 counts of transportation to engage in prostitution, but acquitted on 3 major charges, including sex trafficking and racketeering conspiracy. While these convictions may not sound as severe on the surface, they carry serious consequences, up to 10 years per count, meaning Combs could serve a maximum of 20 years in federal prison. These charges stemmed from incidents involving Cassie Ventura and a woman referred to as Jane, both of whom alleged disturbing coercion, manipulation, and abuse over extended periods. While the jury didn't convict him of trafficking or racketeering, the transportation charges alone are enough to lead to significant incarceration, especially given the nature of the acts involved. Sentencing timeline. So when is Sean Combs actually going to be sentenced? Following the July 2nd verdict, Judge Arun Subramanian scheduled a remote hearing for Tuesday of the following week to determine when sentencing will officially take place. While Diddy's legal team asked to fast-track the process, even offering to waive a pre-sentencing investigation, the prosecution opposed this. Assistant U.S. Attorney Maureen Comey argued that due to the case's complexity and the major differences between the 2 sides' sentencing expectations, a full investigation is needed. This could delay sentencing for weeks or even months. As of now, a formal sentencing date is pending. But once it's set, Diddy will appear in federal court where the judge will review evidence, recommendations from probation officers, and victim impact statements before determining the final punishment. How much time could Diddy really serve? While the maximum possible sentence is 20 years, how much time Diddy actually serves will depend on multiple factors. First, it's important to remember this is Diddy's first criminal conviction. That's something his attorneys will argue in favor of leniency. They'll also likely highlight his past philanthropic work and business contributions. However, prosecutors will argue that these acts of transporting women for prostitution were part of a larger pattern of abusive, manipulative behavior, even if the jury didn't convict him on trafficking charges. If Judge Subramanian agrees that these crimes had a coercive or violent element, he could lean toward a harsher sentence. Federal sentencing guidelines suggest judges consider relevant conduct, which means even acquitted behavior can factor into sentencing decisions. So yes, those freak-off parties, the surveillance footage, and repeated allegations could still influence how long Combs is sentenced to serve. Can Diddy appeal the verdict? Another big question. Can Sean Combs appeal? Yes, he can, and he almost certainly will. His defense attorneys will likely file an appeal to challenge the validity of the charges or the procedures during the trial. But here's the thing. Federal appeals are tough. Courts rarely overturn jury decisions unless there's evidence of major legal errors or misconduct. The appeals process can take years and often requires defendants to serve a portion of their sentence before getting a hearing. So while Diddy's legal team might pursue an appeal, it doesn't guarantee freedom or even reduce sentencing anytime soon. Is redemption even possible? Let's talk about the human side. Can Diddy learn from this? Is redemption even possible? Diddy's legacy has already taken a massive hit. Once a billionaire mogul, he's now entangled in one of the biggest celebrity criminal trials in recent history. Many of his business partnerships have been paused or dissolved. Streaming platforms have pulled his songs from playlists. His public appearances are non-existent, and still, some believe he could come back. If Diddy serves his sentence, shows remorse, and engages in public rehabilitation, maybe through philanthropy or survivor advocacy, he might slowly regain respect. But others argue the damage is irreversible. What makes it complicated is that Diddy has shown little public remorse so far. His legal team is still positioning him as a victim of false media narratives, even after the verdict. Without some kind of acknowledgement or apology, redemption will be hard to come by. Lawyers speak out. After the trial, both of Diddy's defense attorneys made public statements. Tini Geragos stood firmly by Combs, saying, Sean Combs has not sexually assaulted anybody. I've been saying this for months. That was proven true. The media got it wrong every day for nearly 2 years. Mark Agnifilo went even further, praising the jury. One thing stands between all of us and a prison, and that's a jury of 12 citizens. They got the situation right, or right enough. He called the outcome a great victory for both Combs and the American justice system. But critics argue these statements gloss over the fact fact that Combs was still convicted on 2 serious charges, and that 2 women's testimonies were deemed credible enough to lead to those convictions. Civil lawsuits and more legal trouble ahead. Even if Combs somehow avoids a lengthy prison sentence, his legal troubles are far from over. There are multiple civil lawsuits still pending, including from women who didn't testify in this criminal case. These cases accuse Diddy of similar patterns of manipulation, abuse, and control. And now that he's been convicted, lawyers in those civil cases may find it easier to win damages. Civil court uses a lower burden of proof than criminal court. Preponderance of evidence instead of beyond a reasonable doubt. That means the guilty verdict in federal court may add weight to the civil plaintiff's claims. If found liable, Combs could face millions in financial penalties. Industry fallout and legacy in jeopardy. The entertainment industry has already reacted to the guilty verdict. Liquor partnerships have been suspended. Music execs have pulled back. Corporate sponsors have gone silent. For a man once at the center of hip-hop's commercial success, collaborating with Notorious B.I.G., launching clothing brands, hosting award shows, this marks a dramatic fall from grace. If he does return, it won't be on the same stage. Diddy's name has become a liability in boardrooms and studios alike. Even if he walks free in a few years, reclaiming his empire will be a near impossible task, and fans are divided. Some still support him. Others feel betrayed. Many say the verdict was not strong enough and feel more accountability is needed. The emotional toll and public reaction. Beyond the courtroom and business fallout, this case has had a profound emotional impact on both Diddy's accusers and his supporters. Cassie Ventura's legal team has publicly stated that her decision to come forward and testify was about seeking justice, not just for herself, but for others who felt silenced. In a statement following the verdict, her lawyers said, "Cassie paved the way for this moment. She stood in the fire so others could speak out." Online, the reaction is split. Social media platforms are filled with hashtags both condemning and defending Diddy. Supporters believe he's the target of a media witch hunt. Critics argue that his wealth shielded him from a harsher punishment. One viral post even said, "If a regular man had done what Diddy did, he'd already be serving time. Wealth shouldn't mean freedom." Meanwhile, public figures like Rosie O'Donnell have spoken out against the verdict, calling it a joke and saying it didn't go far enough. Others, like actress Rosanna Arquette, expressed heartbreak for the alleged victims. This isn't just a legal battle, it's a cultural reckoning, and the emotional ripples will likely be felt for years to come. Final thoughts. To our viewer who asked, will Diddy serve all his time? Probably not the full 20 years, but a prison term is likely. Will he learn from this? That remains to be seen. Right now, all eyes are on the sentencing date. That moment will determine how serious the court considers these crimes. And from there, we'll see if Combs chooses reflection or resistance, accountability or denial. Either way, this is a turning point not just in his career, but in the broader movement of holding powerful figures accountable. Let us know in the comments what you think. Should Diddy be given a second chance, or has he burned every bridge? Thanks for watching, and we'll keep you updated as the story unfolds.